You look wet, Noelle.
I got wet. It's raining.
A few seconds. Oh yeah.
Wet, Noelle.
I got
What's
wet. Up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. Today we are going to go over shipping tips.
Wet, Noelle.
Sorry guys about that. But today we're gonna talk about shipping tips to help people. It's Q4. Hopefully everyone's doing a ton of shipping, and happy everyone can make it. If you guys want to join, I'll put the information for the Zoom call in the YouTube chat, and you guys are welcome to jump in and give us a shipping tip. Why don't we start with Joel? How was your week, and do you have a shipping tip for us?
My week was fantabulous. Thank you for asking. Sure, I have a shipping tip. My shipping tip is very basic, but I was selling on eBay for a very long time before I actually started doing this, and it changed my game totally and completely. And this is more, I guess, for the beginner than the advanced, but it really did make a big difference in my shipping. My tip is just to pre-package and weigh and ship, or pre-package and weigh everything as you list it, so that when you have to go to shipping, your shipping process is a lot faster and you can ship a lot more and be more productive with your time. So when I'm done with when I'm listing my item, I fold it up nicely, put it in my poly mailer, weigh it, and then I write on it with Sharpie, this is 11 ounces. And then I put my inventory sticker on it and put it in my bin, and it will end up looking like this when I put it into my inventory system. So then when I go to ship in the morning, all I have to do is pull my packages. They're already packaged, they're already weighed, and they're ready to go. And it literally cut my shipping time by 75%, at least. And
everyone feel free to jump in if you have any input. I was just going to ask, do you enter in the cost of shipping when you do the listing?
So I do calculated shipping, and then I enter the package dimensions, the package weight, and then I offer, if it's under a pound, I offer first class. If it's over a pound, I offer priority mail flat rate envelope if it'll fit into that, FedEx ground, and USPS, retail ground or parcel select, whatever, so that they have usually 2 to 4 options. Does that answer your question?
It does. Let's go to Loretta. Loretta, do you have a shipping tip for us?
Well, I ship a lot of breakables.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. So one rule I have, first of all, is don't buy a breakable if it's not worth shipping it. So if I see something at a thrift store, I can't make $4 clear, I don't buy it. Because shipping glass
40?
and ceramics, 40.
40.
Yeah, 40 is like my limit without. Otherwise, shipping glass takes a lot more time. So that eats like where shipping 3 shirts is a lot faster. So yeah, just make sure it's worth your time to ship that item. And also if it's big to store, make sure it's worth it to keep that on hand. So if you have coolers or big things, make sure you're making good profits. That takes a lot of space in your inventory.
How do you determine the profit when you're there? Do you use a calculator?
Oh, I just know, I've sold a lot. Like I've been selling lots of stuff, so I know kind of what I'm going to walk away with. If I don't know the stamp or the maker, I'll look it up on eBay solds and just figure out, what the sell-through rate is and things like that, and decide if I'm going to buy it or not. But generally, I know, what the price point is, say on a glass decanter, usually if it's crystal or whatever, depending on the make and the model. So yeah, make sure it's worth your time, and then also package it. Pardon?
Do you charge shipping or do you do free shipping?
Oh, no free shipping on anything, unless it's like I got some toys I'm gonna do this year, some like hot toys. So I'm gonna compete with Amazon, so I'll be doing free priority shipping on those. That's the exception, but no free shipping on hard goods, especially on big items like a cooler. A Coleman cooler, a metal cooler is huge, right? So I'll put down $60 American on shipping because it could be going from Montana to California or Montana to Florida or the Eastern Seaboard. And that's when you pay a lot of shipping. So I always say in the description, when I do my listing, I will refund overages because sometimes it's only $20 to California, but sometimes it is $60 to Florida. So I always make sure I over exaggerate on the heavy items, and collectors will pay that. They don't mind. So they're aware, and especially if they know the distance, they don't mind paying the shipping. So it's fine. And then my second tip is make sure if you do breakables that you can throw that box, you can kick that box, you can toss it over a fence. All the conveyors at the postal sorting station have 4-foot drops. So they convert and they go down, they go down, they go down. So your box has survived just that alone. And then when the shipping season picks up now, those guys and girls have, twice the load to work on, and they have a time constraint. So they're in a hurry. So if you put fragile glass, they do not care. They have to get that box from point A to point B in a hurry, and they don't see that sticker. So you have to package it like anyone can handle it, and they can take the abuse. So.
Awesome. Also, I wanted to ask, do you weigh items ever when you're at the thrift?
No.
You just experienced, because some people, it's a big difference in my opinion. If it doesn't ship flat rate, it can be expensive. So I just want people to kind of be careful when they first start shipping hard goods. You can be surprised with the big shipping bill. And
there's some things that I was shocked on, like a set of Pyrex Cinderella nesting bowls. They weigh like 10 pounds. And when I first started, I put down $15 thinking that was fine. And it would cost me $30 in shipping to go from Montana to New York State. So I learned very fast. But yeah, glass and metalwares can be very, very heavy. So sometimes in those items, I will though ship them when I'm doing my listing. So I know what I'm getting into. And then on items that I'm gonna double box, I set a lot of those items priority because I find priority, they handle it better. And if it's an expensive piece of crystal, it's worth $300, the buyer does not mind paying priority. So I will double box it. Anything over $100, I double box. So.
Do you also put peanuts in between the two boxes?
Yeah, I'll show you. So I don't know if you can see this, but basically, see, I got 2 boxes and see the peanuts. So you want peanuts on the bottom, all around the sides. You don't want the boxes touching the edges at all. And then peanuts on top. And you want to force yourself, like it should be forced shut. It should be a fight to get that thing closed, because the more space that you have, the more things can shuffle around. And then another thing that I do, I just sold a decanter on the weekend. So, okay, I'm just gonna show you quickly. This is the way I do it. And I sell a lot of glass. So you could just wrap glass in bubble and throw in those peanuts. But I would feel safe if you double box. But if it's just one box, I don't feel safe because that box is going to get moved around so much. So what I do is I will wrap the decanter in bubble like this. And then I will wrap it again in corrugated cardboard like this. And I just all my glasses too. And then I will cut and tape the ends and then put that in the peanuts. So that is the best way to ship glass that I've experienced. And when you get glass plates from like a store, you get that corrugated cardboard and bubble in between for a reason, because it doesn't break. So, or as much as possible.
Where do you buy your corrugated cardboard?
I buy from a local shipper supply, but you can buy on Amazon, Walmart, any website. But if you're interested in doing glass or breakables, the corrugated cardboard is amazing and it will save you a lot of headache.
That is the funniest thing, because I have had a massive roll of corrugated cardboard in my garage for 2 years. And every time I go to throw it out, my wife's like, no, don't throw it out. You paid money for it. You'll eventually use it for something. And I was so close so many times, and now I have a use for it. Finally.
Yeah,
Awesome. Frank, I'm going to call on you next. Tell us, how was your week? And then you ship a lot of hard goods, so maybe you can give us a tip.
Yeah, I do all sorts of stuff. And so I was actually thinking about this. And my tip is this. In the beginning, when I first started a couple of years ago, I lost a lot of money on shipping. Well, not a lot, but like every week there'd be 1 or 2 items I'm losing $10, $15, $20 on shipping. And it really adds up. And in the past year, I don't think I've lost shipping once. and this is how I do it. I basically calculate if it's free, if it's first class, it really doesn't matter because it's very hard to lose money, but I always do free priority, free first class shipping. For anything priority, I do calculated on everything, and I put the dimensions in too. So if it's a board game, we quickly measure it, add a few inches to each dimension, put it in. And so even for things that are free shipping, like there's a lot of items, hot items, new items, I'm selling all sorts of different stuff. Some things are more rare and obscure or unique. Those, it really doesn't matter what the shipping is, people will pay it. But for things that are hot toys and things like that, where pretty much everything's free shipping, you know, I don't want to get stuck with $29.99 free shipping and have to pay $20 shipping on that. I don't want to do that. So what I do is I'll do $14.99 with calculated. And what happens is the people, it eliminates certain people, but it saves money for other people. So I'm in New York, someone else in New York who wants that will actually save money. They'll only spend $22 because it's maybe $6 or $7 shipping. Doesn't matter the dimensions locally, because it's about the same shipping. But if I were to ship that same item to California, it would cost me $25. So by putting it at $14.99, I'm protecting myself from losing money on shipping and it's not a risk. You know, if I put it at $29.99 free shipping, I'm risking someone in California purchasing it and me losing money possibly on the item. But I could also make a little bit more money. But if I put it at $14.99 with calculated shipping, I'm protecting myself from losing money from shipping ever. And so I find that, and that works a lot. And it actually sometimes sells faster, even though you have less people who can buy it at a profit. All of those people will save money. They're actually saving $4, $5, $6 rather than buying all the other listings with free shipping. So I find that actually works really well. And the calculated shipping, I always put dimensions in everything larger than a small board game box. And that also protects us very, very few times. We'll not have the right size box and we'll have to put it in a much larger box. And sometimes it'll be messed up with the dimensions. But most of the time we just measure the actual item, add a few inches to each dimension, do the weight, and then add, depending on the size and the weight of it and how much packing material we think we need, we just add a little bit on the weight. And we've always have made out with that. So that was my tip.
Awesome. I'm going to jump in with my tip, which is to understand the weight limit on each class. This is interesting. Like in Australia, from like 1 to 4 pounds is all the same price. So like you can have an advantage if you were to sell shoes, let's say in Australia, like boots cost the same as regular shoes. So understand that difference. Understand that first class is $4.30, but 8 ounces is $2.77. So $4.30 versus $2.77 is like $1.60 different for only half a pound. So understand the different ounces. And the way that I would do that is when you go in to ship a package, compare rates and then try all the different options and see what they do it. And the more times you do that, the more you'll get used to it, recognize patterns. There are also charts. I'm sure there's one on the Reseller Fam Instagram. If not, we need to make that so that you can keep a little chart and get an idea of what the specific weight limits and classes are. So I think it's super important. You can save money or find a really nice niche like something that's under 8 ounces. Why don't we go to Gwen? You ready?
Hey, okay, so I have a couple different ones. First one is you should be ordering your USPS boxes immediately if you haven't already, and all your bubble mailers, everything, because they run out around the holiday and it takes much longer to get them. So I just got part 1 of 3 of mine, and I literally have about an 8-foot tall stack of boxes. And I'm just storing them outside right now, but I know that once it picks up, I'm going to start going through a lot of shoe boxes, a lot of bubble mailers. So just get them in time. Second tip, which has been all over the internet, but in case you somehow missed it, do not use these labels. Don't use them unless you plan to pay for the extra handling. So these are free on the website, and I had ordered them thinking that they were, for fragile, but they actually cost like $25 or some crazy amount added onto your packages. So these are going in the trash or back to USPS because I'm not going to do that. So, and I've heard that if you mark your stuff fragile, it gets damaged more. I don't know if like everybody's just vindictive at the post office, but I have never had that problem. I have just basic red ones that I stick all over. I've never had an issue, but I don't ship that much fragile stuff. So I guess it's kind of like do it at your own risk, but just pack it really well and, like try that. And then my third tip is just for Poshmark because nobody really talks about Poshmark, but I ship a lot of stuff through Poshmark. So on Poshmark, currently you cannot use flat rate boxes or like the regional A or B boxes. You can only use 3 types of things to mail it out in. So if you're shipping on Poshmark, they will have those features added later. I don't know how that's going to work because it's going to be more expensive for a flat rate than it is currently for just their basic. But you can use priority boxes. So it looks the same as a flat rate, except it says mailing box on it. You can use any size mailing box that you want. And there's like the rectangular ones, there's the square ones. They can be up to 5 pounds through Poshmark. All the labels are 5 pounds. So it doesn't matter if you ship a pair of socks or if you ship like a heavy pair of boots. If it's 5 pounds, it ships in any of these. You can use a poly mailer, which is what I usually use for clothing, unless it's like a bundle that they've bought more than one item, and then I'll put it in the box. And then you can also use just a regular plain cardboard box, even if it says eBay. So you can use any of those for Poshmark, and but don't use the flat rate because your customer will get charged. Somebody sent me a pair of shoes I ordered, and they sent them in a medium flat rate box, and I got charged like $16 to pay the difference. And it was kind of crazy because the girl was like, well, it's a box. And I'm like, well, it says everywhere not to use it. So just remember to do that when you're shipping on Poshmark. That's it.
Awesome. Let's go to Hustlebee. Ken, what's going on? How was your week? And give us a shipping tip.
My week is awesome. Just been sourcing a lot, getting ready for Q4, and I'm starting to feel the wave, and I'm loving it. And I think this week is going to be like our best week so far since we started. So that's really good. So my shipping tip is I really don't have any specific. So here's how I do it. It's either first class or priority. My shipping process is so simplified that I don't make mistakes. And I actually built in the, so I do a lot of free shipping for over $60. So strategically, as far as shipping tip, I actually over deliver. So I actually bubble wrap everything. I actually present it very nice. It has to be in a clean, nice box, crisp, not like something just Frankenstein box is a no-no for me. Everything has to be done professional, like it came from a retail store, like what you get from Nike. So I tried to beat Nike and everything like that. So that's my standard. I have to be better than retail stores. So that's what I do. And my biggest tip really is to simplify. So this comes with knowing your profits. And actually one tip, make sure you guys look at your selling cost. For a lot of people that do offer free shipping, I do a lot of free shipping. My selling cost right now is 20%. So that's very low. And I've tried to bring it down to, I was at 25% at one point, and now it's 20.2. So that's how I gauge my shipping expense. When my shipping is when my fees and shipping are under 25%, 100%, I know I'm making over 50% net profit. So that's a good tip. And then because I don't really care if it's California or I get a lot of mix, so I average it out. I pay about $8 per shoe or per item that I ship out. So it's so simplified that I don't need to figure anything out when I'm shipping. So it's more like a really monotonous job, more like error-free job for us because it's something that it shouldn't be that complicated for me. And
Is that,
if
is that
you're
because everything is almost the same weight and same size though, and same shape?
almost, yeah, almost. Everything I ship is in a shoe box. So what I use is a shoe box, priority shoe box, and I do modified 1092 and 1095. So those three are my most used boxes, and that's it. I don't use any original rates or priority flat rate, even though I could save a few bucks. But since everything's so built in the profit margin, like it's something that I don't need to figure out. So that's it. Really knowing your numbers will, like if $2 to $3 will make or break you as far as shipping is concerned, you need to reevaluate everything.
I want to make one point that just brings into mind, like Frank and Loretta. They sell a lot of hard goods that take a little bit more time to pack. And when you do that, generally you have less competition. Everybody wants to sell easy things that fit in the first class and go out. But there's actually a really successful seller in the mastermind group that only ships freight. And he has almost no competition because who wants to ship something that's 500 pounds? He's like basically all alone in every single category. And imagine that. You never have to discount because you're the only one offering that, because most people would have no idea how to ship something that's 500 pounds. And those types of items, believe it or not, are sometimes free. I got a $400 soundboard because it was so bulky and so heavy for free, because they're like, please just come take it. So if you can learn how to ship furniture or tables or chairs or really big bulky stuff that no one wants to deal with and is really, really hard to transport, people will just leave it in their yard when they move. They don't even deal with it. So you can get that stuff almost for free, and it sells for sometimes thousands of dollars, but you would have to learn how to ship it. So usually the more difficult something is, less competition. So get in there. Yeah, it is.
And also, like, I'm just working around my constraints. I live in a third floor apartment. I don't know why I choose a third floor apartment. So I have to haul everything. When I was living with somebody in the house, I used to ship freights. I actually shipped a full front end of a Mini Cooper freight. So
I love it.
yeah, so it was somebody in the Philippines needed a full front cut. I was able to get a hold of it and ship it freight. So I really am excited to move out of this apartment next year and start getting into the shipping engines and everything like that, heavier stuff. But yeah, as of now, really just keeping it simplified in what works for you. That's really it. Just customizing a process that fits and puts you in a better opportunity and an advantage over everyone else.
I have one more tip on that. So let's say, for example, you're shipping golf clubs. You can go to a golf store and ask for a specific box and they'll give it to you. If you bring a washing machine, you can go to the store and they'll probably have a washing machine box. You can go and get those boxes usually for free if you're nice. If you ask for a nice guy discount, people will usually hook you up. And just always look for ways to get the box for free if you can, because boxes can also be very expensive. So make sure you guys take a look at that. Let's go into Noelle. How's it going? And do you have a tip for us?
Yeah, my tip is to do things, especially in Q4, that are going to save you time, because you'll hopefully be shipping a lot more because it's busy in Q4, and you don't want to be running around like crazy looking for things and trying to make do with shipping and make sure things are working. Like, don't tape your labels unless you're really insistent that that's what you want to do. Buy the half sheets that you can just peel off and stick on and go. You don't have a scale already, buy a scale so that you can do your shipping from your computer. That will save you so much time. Poly mailers, like I think Gwen was holding up, don't try to make makeshift boxes and everything. Like clothing goes in poly mailers and it's so easy. A tape gun if you don't have it. Oh, and bubble wrap and peanuts, like Loretta was saying, if you're going to sell hard goods and breakables, that's a must. And I remember I used to send stuff and it would break in the mail because I didn't have the right supplies. I would just be trying to throw it all together and hope it got there. And if you have all your supplies ready, you're going to be able to ship a lot faster and not get stressed out and lose your mind. And the last thing that would go along with that is scheduling your pickups, as long as you're not in like a really bad area. That saves you so much time. You don't have to go. The post office is insane this time of year with everyone trying to ship their Christmas packages. And so if you can schedule your pickups and have the mailman come and get them instead of taking them to the post office every day. I did have a lot of trouble getting my postal carrier to pick mine up last year, but that's a different story. But most postal carriers are really good and they will come pick up your packages and not complain about it.
You had a lot of trouble with your.
I did. They didn't want them. The postal carrier didn't want them, and then I took them into the post office and got yelled at there. So I felt like no one wanted my packages last year. But normally that doesn't happen.
There's also, a lot of people drop off at the post office and sometimes they don't get scanned. I've seen people use the scan me sticker that they put on there to let them know, like, hey, I'm an eBay seller. It's really important that you guys scan for me, but I know sometimes you don't want to wait in line, so you just leave your packages there and hope that they scan them. My post office allows me to use the scan form. Not every post office will let you do that. They have to trust you that you're not actually having all those packages ready to be scanned. And if they do a pickup, usually they will use the scan form. Or I prefer they scan every package, but that's not a thing. Once you get to a certain level of volume, they're not going to do that. They're going to definitely hate you.
Yeah.
Also, depending on the size of the truck, mine will, if I have more than 3 bins, the guy's a small mail truck, he'll just tell me no.
No.
I can't do that. So you have to be nice to them and see what you can do to get them to, leave. I leave a bottle of water, and sometimes he takes it, sometimes not.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I tried to give mine a cash tip last year. This is how bad it got. I had a $20 bill because I had 40 packages that day, and they were running late, and it was 8 o'clock at night. I took a $20 bill, and I followed the lady out. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just want to give you this tip. Thank you so much. And she was like, you can keep it, and then slammed her door and took off. So I had a lot of trouble last year.
You're muted, Chris.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
I have my guys scheduled every single day of the year. So some people, they're like trying to scan it, but I just do it every day. So, I need a sign that says no mail today or something, but my guy has to check every day. So
That's another good shipping tip. I went ahead, I scheduled a pickup every day until the end of the year. And in the notes, it says I will have anywhere from 1 to 300 packages every day on my front step. And then, like Chris said, but my mailman loves me. But his off days are what gets me. So that's why I have to be careful because his off days change. And then to go along with Chris, I leave food or water. If it's hot, I'll leave water or, Starbucks gift cards or whatever Mr. Who likes. But make friends with your mailman is another great shipping trip, or mailwoman or mail person.
I want a fake garbage can that you can open up and it has all the packages in it and only the postman knows about it.
My mom does that.
I do want a giant rolly bin. I wish that I could just have a track and put the packages on it and it would roll down to the curb. That would be awesome. Totally necessary. Let's see here. Gwen, did you have a tip on what we can tip them or give them? I don't think they're supposed to accept cash because they're federal employees.
Up to $20.
Yeah, it's up to $20, and then gifts, I want to say it was like less than 50 per calendar year or something. So, because you can give them like a gift card, but I think it is $20 cash is the max.
I looked it
They
up.
can. It's on the website.
Noelle's a rule follower.
I am.
But
Yeah,
I
Noelle wouldn't be going over that limit.
How do you guys handle it? I think everybody got to speak. Actually, let's see. Did everyone get to speak?
Dave.
Oh, Dave.
Yep. Hello.
Give us a shipping tip, Dave.
A shipping tip, I would say know your different post offices. We have the closest convenient one for us is only open till 5. So if we have a day where we have something else going on or we have a lot of extra shipping to do and it pushes us past that time, just knowing which other options you have to take your shipping to if you don't have a pickup scheduled. I know we have one that's a little bit out that's open till 6, and the one that's a little bit further open till 8. So having those as backup options is always very helpful for us on those days where we're just kind of pushing it to the edge and don't have to worry about any negative impact there.
Does your post, if you go to different post offices, are they in the same zip code?
They are not. So actually, I think it spreads over. There's 3 different zip codes for the 3 post offices we go to.
Do you change your mailing from zip code when you use a different mail place?
I do not.
So there's one, I've run into this problem before. I don't use this post office anymore because they're the only one. There's probably 4 or 5 around me, and same with you, they're all different zip codes. But there's one post office that I used to go to because it was small and never busy. And they were open later. So when it was after my mailman came and I needed to drop something off, I would go there and she wouldn't take my packages because it was 20817 instead of 20814. And we got in the biggest fight. And then turns out she was an eBay seller too. And so I just don't go there anymore. But it's the only place that ever gave me any trouble about not having the ship from zip code different than the zip code they were in.
That is strange for it. I know that the big one we go to that opened the latest, they're one of like the receiving centers. So wherever we go, that we know it's going to end up there. That's weird that that'd be an issue. I figure all sorts of stuff's going to go there.
That particular post office is known for being grumpy, but I was desperate.
I've tried to make friends with them.
I've been so
I was shipping from Victorville, and then I came to Tucson because I had stuff shipping from 2 different places when I was taking care of my mom. It didn't matter. The post office didn't care what zip code was on the package. It still shipped. They told me it doesn't matter because I was like, do I have to change it based on where I am? And she was like, no, I don't care. She's like, it'll go regardless.
That's so nice.
What's Matt doing here?
Hey, what's up?
Matt, do you have a shipping tip for us?
My first tip would be always double up on the bubble wrap. We used to ship a lot of false graph, dishes and plates when we first kind of got into eBay, and we broke a lot. So the bubble wrap seems to help out quite a bit, and that's probably it.
I'm gonna give one more tip. You can ship a mug in a paper flat rate envelope and it won't break if you do it properly. Because I've seen it, and Jason T. Smith does one and he hits it with the golf club and throws it off his house and it doesn't break. You can definitely do. You just have to make sure you bubble wrap it. You put it in a box, put that box in bubble wrap, and then make sure it doesn't move at all inside of it. Like Loretta had mentioned, no loose space for it to move, and it will survive. And
jelly roll.
Yeah, and don't test it, because if you test it by dropping it on the ground, you've broken the part of it. That's like why you can't reuse a helmet. So don't test it and it doesn't break and then send it, because you've now ruined the integrity of the box.
Good idea.
That just reminded me. I found these slot cars at a thrift shop for like $2. Put them on auction. They sold for $1,000. But then I had someone helping me ship stuff, and he just bunched them up in a ball and in a bag and shipped them. And like half of them got broke, like because they're old and brittle. By the time they got there, I had to refund the guy half the money. I got so mad at my guy. But if you're shipping multiples of stuff that, even if it can get scratched up, figures or something, don't put them all in a bag. Wrap them individually. I learned that the hard way. But it seems like common sense, but then sometimes you're busy and things like that. But you'd be surprised. So
common sense, not so common. I have a question to ask you guys. I have ordered a few times multiples of something, and it's come because they pre-package them, just 3 boxes taped together. How do you guys feel about that? Because I see it. Instead of unpackaging them all and recombining it into one package, they just literally tape the 3 boxes together.
I've actually done that.
Oh, you've done it?
Yeah. So if there's like 2 shoes that it goes to one person, because like I do a lot of pre-packing. So for example, like this, I would just literally tape this together. So I mean, it still look. I mean, you just have to make sure it still looks good, right?
Right.
So I mean, it will. I mean, with how I would tape it together, it would look like it's just one box.
Okay, let's talk about taping. Anybody have any tips for how to tape a box? Any special tips?
Free tape. I go through so much tape that I like one every. I mean, like not really a lot because I haven't been doing this a lot. But my last quarterly coupon was all on tapes, and I have to reorder one again.
And I just the only taping tip I can give is use 3-inch tape instead of 2-inch tape if you're buying it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Just use one piece of tape over it and call it a day instead of using multiple pieces
I
of
gotta
tape.
start doing that.
And
The other
definitely not tape your labels on. You should get sticky labels. Go ahead, Frank.
no, if you're shipping something exceptionally heavy, a lot of times the sides of the boxes bust open when it drops. You got to tape that too. So I get stuff sometimes I'll pay, really heavy, and a lot of times from like Shop Goodwill or something, and they'll the whole time, I'll get it and they'll be packing peanuts all over my front lawn because the wind blew it out of the box because the whole side's busted open. So it's no fun. But yeah,
Can
tape
I
yourself.
say something?
Please.
So there's when at my suppliers, there's three different types of tape. So you get what you pay for. So I use a lot of tape. And sometimes if you get really cheap tape, it will actually, when it gets taped over another tape, it actually costs it to lift up again. So you'll tape your box, you'll walk away, and also your tape's flying up again. So if you do a lot of shipping, don't buy Staples tape, spend more money and buy the right tape. Otherwise, it's going to end up open halfway through the shipping process. So I say buy the right tape.
That's a great point. There's also, in case you guys don't know, quiet tape that is legit quiet. So if you go to uline.com, you can order it. It doesn't make, it's very, very soft versus like, the crazy sound waking up all your neighbors and your family. So you can get it. It does cost a little bit more money. But yeah, I would say the second crappiest tape in the world is the eBay tape. So it's free, but it's not very good. So, I mean, you definitely get what you pay for. For me, I use it for poly mailers and bubble mailers. I don't use it for the eBay tape because it's not that great. I think it's not as cheap as people think it is if you have to use 3 pieces of it to reinforce something heavy. I also just want to stress Loretta's point about, like, I hear people say, I only do things that make me $100 in profit. And then I look at how long it takes them to package that item. And I think if it takes you 2 hours to package something really unique, strange, heavy, then your hourly goes way down versus people who are shipping a lot of small items. So make sure you really calculate the time that you need to pack something properly or test it. All that stuff matters. If you're selling a lot of electronics, make sure you really factor in the total cost of your time, not just I made $100 on this item and you don't factor in the fact that it took you a couple of hours to get it ready to sell, ship, pack, everything. Frank, you have a question?
No, I was gonna say because I sell a lot of different stuff, and then certain things I sell a lot of the same thing, and I'll get a lot of combined orders. And one thing that is huge is the promotions for combined orders. And I'm thinking, I get a lot of combined orders, but like if you charge for shipping on a lot of similar items, you could do promoted. Sorry, my son. You can do promoted listings for free shipping, right? If you buy 3 or more, you get free shipping. So that's extremely incentivized because you're going to save money by combined shipping, but you're going to get higher ASP and more sales. So I think you guys should play around with that if you're selling a lot of similar items.
Also, you guys are definitely get a tape gun. If you're not using a tape gun, you're doing it wrong. You really need to get one. It's worth the investment. Don't get a cheap one either. Just get it, spend up and get the real sturdy one. It's going to save you a lot of time when you press down. And because I see people that their tape guns are not industrial, so they break or they wiggle and the tape gets twisted up. That's all wasting you a lot more time. Just spend up.
Yeah, Uline has them, I think, for $30, and I've had mine for like 3 years now, and it's awesome. So can I say something about boxes? So I sell on Etsy. I've created a great logo, a great banner, and like great presentation. So I spend money on boxes because, you know, I've done all that work to present this item to my client. And then to throw into a diaper box and give it to them, you know, so spend the money, go find a supplier or Amazon and buy your boxes and then have a variety of sizes. So if you, like I sell tons of different stuff. So to be there scrambling to make a box is the last thing I want to do because it's very stressful, especially when it's busy coming up. So just pad your price, $2 extra for your packing peanuts, bubble box. And then the client doesn't mind paying that, but just do that. And then when they get it, they're excited because it's like a brand new item they would get from Nordstrom or something like that. They just feel good about the whole process. So yeah.
Karen makes a great point to make sure that you sign the international shipments. If you're shipping directly to your customer, you need to sign the customs forms. And then also don't tape over the envelope that holds the documents because they need to be able to pull it out and see what the contents are for customs. And definitely include in the US, there's 4 sheets that print, and then you keep one and you cut 2 halves sheets of paper and keep 3 in the envelope. Make sure you leave enough room to pull that stuff out. And also do not use those for domestic shipping because it's like stealing federal property. So don't steal those. I think it's worth it. Does anybody in here, let's talk about printers. I did just fine with a laser printer and sticky labels, but I have a Dymo now. Does anybody now have any input on what kind of printer they use?
I still use my $30 printer, my HP $30 printer. And as far as ink would go, I pay $12 and I've only bought 3 times since I started. So I think it's good enough and it has a scanner, so it's pretty cool. I just got it off Amazon for $29.99. So nothing really fancy, and it's just the traditional printer. But yeah, so that's what I use. So I haven't stepped up the game for the Dymo yet.
I think you're doing it right because you don't ship a lot of stuff, so you're actually saving. Dymo printer is $150, so plus the price of the labels is a little more. But you say if you're shipping, 30, 40, 50 things a day, it'll definitely save you a lot of time.
Yep.
But if you're not there yet, I would recommend, holding off.
So 2 things. Somebody in the chat just said if you print the label for international using the eBay software, you don't need to sign it. That's not true. That's only, you still need to sign it on there because they will kick it back. You definitely have to sign it because it is a legal document. And then I have a Rollo printer. So I like the Rollo printer better because it's really easy to use. It doesn't have the issues that the Dymo does. And it was a little more expensive, but it literally has never had one glitch. And I've had it for like 6 months and I absolutely love it.
What do you love about it compared to the Dymo? I have a Dymo.
I never had a Dymo, but everybody complained like it was really hard to print Poshmark labels. It was really hard to print Amazon labels. Like it's just a lot of work to like troubleshoot it. And Rollo, what's nice about them is they have a 24-hour helpline and they literally answer the phone in less than 3 minutes and they get back to you within an hour. Like they are so good. When I first got it, I had no idea how to print a Poshmark label and I couldn't figure it out. And I called and she was like, I'll email that to you right now. 2 minutes later, it was in my email how to do it. It was like super easy. And I just like that I can get an actual person and not have to go searching for information all night. Like when I want to print something, I want it now. Like I don't want to wait.
Call my sister.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, maybe the Dymo's probably good too. I mean, a lot of people have Dymo, but I met people.
A Posh label on it.
Yeah, I just showed Noelle how to do it and it worked for her. It's the same as it. I can show you how to do it. It's really easy, but it works for Dymo the same way that they told me it works for Dymo, works for Zebra. It doesn't really matter. But it's super easy to use. And I met them at eBay Open and they were just really nice. So I figured, I'd actually go with them because Dymo wasn't there. So
right.
So I have a question for you guys. Right now, USPS is no longer kicking back packages where you don't pay enough on them. I think they're supposed to be billing you instead on your eBay account. Are they also supposed to be refunding you if you overpay? I'm just wondering if it's going to be an automated service. I doubt it, but I'm just wondering what's the process? Has anybody been dinged or credited anything from USPS since they stopped kicking packages back? Because I do think that's better for the customer instead of having to go to the post office and paying an additional fee because you didn't charge enough to bill you after the fact.
I haven't had an issue either way.
Wait, what?
I have not had an issue on either.
I haven't either. So
I used to have people complain because they had to go to the post office and pay extra. I haven't had that in a while. I'm assuming either I'm magically getting charged for it, but the one thing I did learn was medium L shipping. If it's the wrong address or something happens and it gets shipped back to you, you have to also pay for the return shipping. I never knew that until I got it at my door and they made me go to the post office and pay like $20. It's freaking annoying.
and I just want to point out, like, all this stuff that people do it's fancy is not necessarily critical to your success. I know six-figure sellers that don't have a computer. They just list 100% from their phone and they print the labels one at a time from their phone. Like that's not the fastest way to do it, but it's just the way that works for them. So if there's plenty of ways to do it. You can be totally technologically advanced, or you can just do it. And the key is just getting enough listings and having a lot of packages to ship when it comes to the end. Like make sure you list a lot. I think it's important to learn how to, at least one time, learn how to ship everything, just so you have an idea. Because there's huge margins and stuff like vintage beer signs. And so it would probably be good for you one time in your life to ship one, just to see, plus it's interesting. And also, I want to encourage people, if you really don't know, it's okay to pay someone professionally to do it one time. I shipped a record player that was ridiculously fragile. And so I paid $40 to watch a professional packer do it one time. Now I can do it myself perfectly, but I watched them do it. They guarantee the package if they do it. If you go to USPS or UPS or FedEx, they will usually insure or guarantee it if they pack it for you. It's only worth it when the margin is super high, but I do think it's worth it the first time so you can get an idea of how professionals do it. And they also have those machines that make bubbles, which I think is really cool. If you're ever to the scale where you can print your own bubble wrap to the exact shape, that's how they get it so that there's no room in the box. And I think that's, again, one of the biggest things. I know when I get a package and it's rattling around, even if it's not broken, it's a poor user experience. You don't want to get it and you hear it rattling around in there. I just bought a headlamp and the guy did not put anything else in the box. So it was literally just bouncing around in there. And that's not a good look. Also, one more thing I was going to ask. I was going to ask Gwen. I think I used your code to get this shoe cleaner. And the item came, and I think it's a first class item, but it came in a priority flat rate. Is it not?
I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. Actually, I don't even think you're allowed to send that in the mail, period, because it's a liquid, but I don't know.
So
I don't know.
You can, it just has to go ground.
I buy a lot of first class items. I buy a lot of items on eBay to begin with, and people ship first class items to me in a padded flat rate all the time, and I feel like they're losing $2 to $5 every time they do that. Also, I was going to ask you guys,
see how much it weighs.
do people here recycle packing materials from when you order something on eBay or Amazon, or do you not do that because it's not crispy like new stuff?
Heck yeah.
100%.
Being green.
If you have the room for it, yeah.
It's all,
'Cause
the
it's
world is all about
taking
recycling
mistake.
right now. It shows your responsibility to our earth. But a lot of them are easy to reuse, and you can still make them look like you're not just using trash. Like a lot of the brown paper that's crumpled up in Amazon boxes that I get, and all my Amazon Fresh grocery orders come with those little styrofoam squishy rectangle things. I save all of those. Those are some of my favorite things to reuse for shipping hard goods and breakables.
And the air pillows, they're
Yeah, the air pillows. Yeah, there's no one would ever know that you were using reused air pillows.
Also, always keep an eye out on the free ads on Craigslist. I passed it up because it was a little too much for me. It wasn't worth it. But like one county over, they were giving away 1,000 boxes for free.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you keep your eye out, every month or so, you'll find somebody giving away massive amounts of shipping materials.
And a lot of people have it when they move.
In the box,
They move
yeah.
somewhere and they have all the packing materials, and they're just going to leave it or get rid of it. So search the free section for moving supplies.
Especially in bigger cities. Like I live in DC, and this area is very transient, and so people are always moving, and I'm always getting free boxes. And in fact, I had to quit because I had too many. And now everybody knows what I do. And like, do you want my boxes? Like I do, but I gotta wait for a little bit before Adam kills me.
You know, one thing that I've done recently is I've been selling a lot of plush. Because a lot of plushes can sell for over $40, which is amazing to me. But I push it into a medium flat rate box almost every time. And so I'm sure when they open it, it explodes out of the box. So I don't think that's a good experience, but it's entertaining for me.
Sometimes it's the best part, a giant stuffed animal jumping out at you.
You know that packing supplies from eBay, they have these 14 by 18-inch poly bags. That's what I ordered this time. So I shipped a huge Eeyore. But I didn't want to put him in the box because he was going to Texas. So I bubbled him, and then I used like 4 of those bags, and I taped them and I sent it off. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but those big bags hold like purses, and so I recommend those bags.
Do you guys ever use the double bag, like one side on one side,
yes,
the other?
Like telescope purses?
How do you reinforce the middle of it?
Tape.
Tape.
I sell duffel bags, and that's how I use them. I think the same one that
biggest one.
Yeah, the biggest one that they get. Yeah, and I just reinforce tape in the middle.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll put tissue in the purse and then I'll double it. So yeah.
Double poly bag. Love it. Let's see what else. That's a lot of tips. That's like 100 tips in 60 minutes. Let's see if we have anybody else have any last shipping thoughts?
If
anybody missed.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're gonna get a lot of boxes. Stay on top of it. So for me, like I will just ship 10 here, 10 there, and then just keep on top of it, because otherwise the next day you wake up and you have 40 parcels, and my kids gotta go to school, they got things to do. The last thing you wanna do is spend your whole day shipping. So just stay on top of the shipping when it starts piling up.
Do you guys batch ship? Because I've been tempted to do the bulk shipping with sometimes up to 50 packages. It's definitely overwhelming though. It seems like you should do them in sets of maybe 20. I don't know. Frank,
I do 10. I do 10 at a time.
10 at a time.
Yeah, and then it's like it's easier. And I do my this one thing that I actually do since the beginning. I actually pack everything at night before it goes out in the morning. So whatever sells overnight, since I'm in the East Coast, it's usually like 3 to 5 maximum packages. So it's not really overwhelming. And I try to get the packages before 11 in the morning, so it actually gets, if it misses the 12 p.m. pickup, there's another 3 p.m. pickup before the last pickup. So that's one thing that one of the biggest feedback I get is fast shipping, faster than what eBay quoted them. So that's what I do.
Sounds good. Jason, what's up?
Hey guys, sorry, I was on a conference call.
All good. Do you want to give us a shipping tip?
Be willing to break things. No, that sounds terrible, but some of the coolest things I've ever found that I enjoy shipping, the first few times I shipped them out, they broke and I had to give a refund. And it sucked, but you know what? I learned, oh, I actually like selling this thing, and it's a lot easier to ship than I thought it was. I just didn't know how to do it. But you know, studying beforehand will save you some money.
Mama, can you come upstairs? My iPad.
Sorry, Joel, I had to mute you. There were babies in the background. Let's see. Duncan has a great time-saving hack. He has his wife do all the shipping. A great way to do it.
Those.
Let's see. People are saying they do sets of 10. Some people are afraid and still ship one at a time. I don't necessarily say that that's bad, but in the future, you're going to have to graduate to do it. More than multi-label shipping saves you a lot of time.
Okay, Chris, so I got on pretty much for one reason tonight.
Yes, come on.
Because I told you months ago I was going to send you this, and you've probably forgotten about it. But I found these at a GameStop they were discounted highly. I think they were 90% off. But they are Pokemon Pikachu pajama bottoms.
You're supposed to tell me you paid full price for them.
Yeah. No, that would be an insult to you. But no, so I'm gonna ship these over to you. But I need your address again if you can Instagram it to me.
Awesome. Yeah, if everyone would like to join this call, the dress code is pajamas or higher. So I will definitely rock those in one of the Sunday calls. I'm super excited.
So medium, right?
Medium is great. I'll Instagram you my address right now. When is everybody's cutoff time for their post office guy picking up? I do most of my shipping the night before because my guy comes around 2:00, and when I don't want to like interrupt my day. I want to have my shipping mostly done, because life gets in the way and you don't want to get stuck. If I don't ship the night before, I never make the pickup. I have to end up going to the post office myself.
I'm a night owl, so I will typically ship like 2 a.m. or something. I'll have everything ready to go and then get it put out. I think my post office he comes around 11:00, and I've had to schedule him to come every day. So because we don't have an actual mailbox.
Awesome. Well, I mean, we're at the top of the hour. Does anybody else have any final thoughts? I appreciate everyone coming tonight.
I'll say this, but someone can still have a tip or a thought. But if anyone missed some of this or whatever, Noelle's going to do a recap on the Reseller Fam Instagram page, some slides of everybody's shipping tips so that people can refer back.
Awesome. And if you guys have any specific topics you'd like us to cover, we want to do this every week and use it as an opportunity to brainstorm. I have learned a lot tonight, and I really want to start getting into, honestly, more fragile stuff because there's so many sellers that just skip it. And glassware and dishes are almost free. They don't want them at thrift stores. They don't know how to sell it. Nobody in the store has expertise. You could probably offer to buy all of it, or they might even give it to you. They really don't like it. In the thrift stores here in California, there's way too much of it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to grade it. I've learned a lot about crystal stuff recently, mostly from Loretta. But yeah, it's exciting. I think you should definitely learn new niches.
I think too, estate sales, because people, unfortunately, someone's passed away and the kids don't want it. And they like, see this lamp behind me? I bought 3 lamps like this. 2 are like $5 each and the other one was $10. I'm selling them each for $120 on Etsy. So the margins are huge on like swag lights are huge right now. So, and I have to put that in the box with some peanuts and some bubble and the way it goes. And, so lighting is a huge thing you can make a lot of money on. And same thing, you can go to estate sale, like there's all this china here. And of course, like there's some items that are gonna be worth more money because they're hard to find or like, they were more expensive back in the day, like the gravy boat, the platters, the butter dish, like all those things. And those things can sometimes fetch $80 to $200 a piece, and they'll sell you the whole set for $50. So the margins are huge if you're willing to ship it.
And it only takes 1 or 2 times to ship something awkward so you feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. You guys are all welcome to use my PO box to ship me mugs, and I'll tell you if they broke or not. So you can get them for cheap.
Who's the biggest expert here on Frankenboxes?
Probably Chris.
I mean, I shipped a lot of golf clubs using 2 poster boxes. So, I mean, I love golf clubs. They usually people who golf have extra income, so they just get rid of them so you can get golf clubs for cheap. And any golf club set is worth triple if you sell them club by club. It takes a long time, but that's how you should sell used golf clubs. And so Franken boxes for me is I actually like to trim it so that only a little bit of it overlaps so that I save weight. I love Franken boxes to me. I usually leave a little note though, like I apologize for the ugly presentation, but hopefully it gets there safe.
That's actually offensive to me, Frankenbox.
What's
I'm just-
inside the box? is more important usually.
It's named after Frank.
I did.
Oh, yeah,
a-
box sizers. Go ahead.
So I had a I don't know what it's called, but it was like where they would return like Coke crates back in the day. The old it's like it's antique, vintage, or whatever, wooden crates, and they would put them on this stand for the delivery. And I bought it and then posted it online to sell it. I went to ship it. It was $55 to ship, and it weighed about 3 pounds. I was astonished at the shipping price on it, purely because the box was such a weird shaped box. It went on in a giant picture frame box.
That's a great tip. Don't forget about dimensional restrictions. Super long, super wide, or both. You know, it can add up and be an irregular. And definitely look at is your box irregular? Check this box, see what the requirements are, and measure the boxes. They're more strict at USP or FedEx and UPS, I believe, as far as dimensional weight. Not so much on flat. And I still want to figure out if we can fit 70 pounds into a flat rate envelope, because that's the weight maximum. But I mean, other than pure
You
platinum,
can gold, platinum.
I mean, but how could we? I think if we all pooled our money together, we couldn't afford that much platinum. How much money is that? It'd be like 70 pounds of platinum.
Let's see it. How many?
Is this where you start taking donations?
Well, I think it's cheaper to buy gold than platinum.
The heaviest thing
I've
I ever
been
shipped
doing
is I
that.
sold some speaker tweeters, and they were like 40 pounds for the 2 of them. I put them in that flat rate large box. But that's the heaviest thing I've ever found. It's like probably like a motor part, or that'd probably be like the heaviest thing you're gonna find.
Yeah, for sure. We should have a contest.
I used to ship disc brakes in a flat rate large box.
Yeah.
It's heavy as crap. And then I live in a 3rd floor apartment. Oh my gosh. And I actually shipped it was 120 something pounds. It was actually a front strut and shock absorber for a BMW that I shipped, and there were 2 of them. And I paid a lot. I think it was close to 300 to 400 bucks for both. And it was just here to New York.
I'm probably doing the math wrong, but I think it's over $1 million in platinum. Yeah, I don't know if you can insure a package that high.
You don't.
You don't, yeah. You fly it to the person. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming. Let's call it a night. I'll see you guys next week. We'll come up with a topic. And everyone, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.